Good evening. Grab your favorite thing to toke on and your favorite drink and let's have a chat. So I want to address something, and it's hard for me to put a word on one single thing. So we're just going to roll with it. Now I'm using an outline because I'm finding that I really like using the outlines. I do not like reading scripts. And I'm going to start out reading you the very first part of this outline because it reads perfect. People are obsessing over headlines, outrage bait, and 30-second clips. That's a fact. Just take a look around. Take a look at social media feeds. That's all they are. 30-second clips of outrage bait. By the way, that you don't have to click on. That choice is yours. Yours alone. Nobody's making you click that link. Nobody. Remember that. Meanwhile, the stakes for humanity have never been higher. That's another fact. It doesn't matter how many times you ask the people that are involved in this outrage to slow down, step back, and take a look. They won't do it. They won't do it. Not for a second. I know a lot of people that have fallen for it. A lot. History didn't collapse because people were uninformed. No. They do collapse because people are misinformed. That's a fact. It collapsed because people were distracted and convinced resistance was pointless. Now I want you to think about the art of war. Sun Tzu. One of the most important things you can do for winning a battle is making your opponent think you already have. That's like 101 stuff. Not even. That's like pre-K stuff. The most dangerous lie isn't that you're wrong. It's that there is nothing that you can do. Fact. See, what they've got everybody so distracted about things that really aren't personally affecting them, people are completely ignoring everything that is. What's up with your local town? Do you know who's on the city council? When's the last time you taken a look at what they've been up to? Might want to do that. That's where you live. That's where you live. Distraction isn't new, but the scale is. Society has always been distracted. In fact, society itself finds distractions. We often intentionally find distractions to just have a little bit of time, a little space, a little peace. Nothing wrong with that. Leisure is a distraction. As long as you don't participate in it too much, it's healthy. But society has never been distracted at this speed. They've never had a 24-hour news cycle like this. And now it's on the level that now it's not just breaking news that's happening every 2 seconds, but it's leaks of breaking news that happen every 1 second. It's insane. The most critical part of this 24-hour news cycle that never ends is the level of emotional manipulation that's happening in all of it. All of it. All of it. There are only two Two people that I can even fathom to watch anymore. Two. Tucker Carlson and We Are Change. That's it. The rest are so damn disgusting at this point. My opinion, they look like a bunch of fairies out there with their all their emotions. Sorry for the blinging. I should have turned notifications off. Now you will no longer be blinged. You're welcome. Should have did that earlier. I apologize. The most concerning thing of these distractions and emotional manipulation happening with them is the fact that this is global. This isn't one nation doing this. It's even scarier when you look at what nations are doing it. China, they seem to be a big part of the foundation for it, to be honest. Israel, the United States, Russia, Germany, much of the UK, the EU. I made a video not long ago talking about being aware of the emissions you put off, the signals. What was that video called? Let me go take a peek real quick. Tracking the invisible. How everyday devices can be seen from afar. You might want to check that video out. But anyway, continuing along with the thought of the global coordination and cooperation, whether that be by intention or force, I want to just take a trip back to World War II. That was one guy, one nation. And my dad said that it's a damn good thing that Hitler got sick, because if Hitler didn't get sick, we'd all be speaking German. I couldn't tell you how many times I've heard my dad make that quote. My dad, for not having an education past junior high, was one of the smartest men that I've ever met in my life. And it wasn't through degrees. It wasn't through bullshit. It was through a lived life. My mom used to insult me. Try to. Well, used to. Used to insult the shit out of me. When my mom used to tell me just how much I was like him. Now, I'll thank her. I had a squirrel moment. I'm sorry. That's what the outlines are supposed to prevent. Continuing on. What's going on now is not just one nation, one man, one army. It's multiple nations with shared objectives and populations, for the most part, that are glued to the curated outrage. Now, they're doing stuff different ways in the different nations. Not all the nations are glued to the curated outrage. The U.S. is, wholeheartedly. The U.S. is, but in other nations, they're doing it other ways, like fear, right? Happening a lot over EU, UK, the fear route. And they've tried that here. Whole COVID thing, it didn't seem to work out too well for them. But they tried. They most certainly tried here. They had more success, I think, over in the EU and UK, which I think is why they're going forth with the fear campaign instead of here. I mean, here it's still a fear campaign, but they have to create the outrage to cause the fear. Okay? Over there, they didn't have to do that. I mean, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to my friends across the pond. I'm probably not talking about you personally, but they laid down. As a nation, they laid down. I'm going to be honest. I'm very well afraid that our nation's going to do the same, but they're just going at it a different route. And people got to pull back. They got to stop thinking emotionally. They got to stop stop. You know, the people that are profiting from the outrage are going to keep doing it as long as they're profiting from it. You do not have to click the video. That's a choice. You don't have to do it. If you can't watch the content without becoming emotionally attached to it, then maybe you shouldn't be making decisions about how people should react to it. Because that's exactly what that is. A reaction. Reactions aren't known to always be the smartest approach. Ask me how I know. What is section 2? 2! We're 10 minutes. You're supposed to keep me unsquirreled. Okay. People are banking their entire worldviews on video clips, headlines, and algorithmically fed emotions. Yeah, I knew I was gonna struggle on that one. You know, there's fake videos that go around, and when you try telling people that's a fake video, and this happens, by the way, on both sides of the aisle. I'm not pointing. This isn't about left versus right. This is me. This is me. I don't do the left versus right. And I know it offends people when I say this, but I have a higher IQ than that. I'm not going to play left versus right. I see it for what it is. I'm asking you to take a breath and step back and look at it again. It's a trap. Don't fall for it. So, when people stop thinking, they start surrendering. And they don't even know it. There's a guy local here. I don't know. I don't remember what I posted, but it had something to do with pole shift, and he made some kind of a comment about, don't tell me you're a climate denier. Absolutely not. But I'm a global warming denier. I'm a Bill Gates is right denier. You damn right the climate's changing. I've been talking about it for 15 years. Before I started a channel. We're going on 13. I think we're going on 13 years old this year. I was talking about it for a couple of years before the Watchman news, I'll tell you that. Um. Anyway, this guy, now mind you, he protests. Okay, let's just say it. He protests. Like, he'll find one or two people and he's got a bullhorn and signs. And I'm going to be honest, if I didn't know better, I'd call him as a fed. That's what I think. That's my thoughts, because who would want to intentionally be that retarded as this dude? I'm just saying. Just saying. I don't know, there's... Just say I've got FedDar. Okay, let's just say I've got FedDar. Alright? Anyway. But yeah, I'm just supposed to believe what the accepted climate scientists say, because they say it. Right? The same guy that's out there protesting the same system that he's telling me I have to trust. Now, do I have to reinforce the idea of IQ any more than that? That or not, he's an idiot, or at least plays one on the job, on the clock. So, I do want to address the comment on my last video. And it's not to put my brother on the spot, but it needs to be addressed. Like, a few parts of it. Comment was made, and again, I'm not putting you on blast, brother. But in the comment, there were things like freedom of speech doesn't exist. Gun rights are gone. You must obey to participate. The Constitution is already dead. What are you going to do? Go to prison or die? God never told us to defend anything. Okay, those are all little excerpts. Freedom of speech doesn't exist. What the fuck am I doing? What the fuck am I doing right now? I have spent going on 13 years on this channel putting the government on blast. What have I spent the last 13 years doing here, if not participating in freedom of speech? Have there been hiccups? Hell yeah. The COVID ordeal was a nightmare. And yeah, I think we should get compensated in some manner, somehow. Sorry about the phone. That was it. If you heard it, slap the floor. I'm still participating in freedom of speech. Is it perfect? No. No. But part of that is us. How many of those years did I have a website? You know how hard it is to get people just to go to the website? Who is that on? Me? And I'm no different. Let me make that clear up front. I am no different. Right? I won't go to a website for free in most cases. Let's go pay a membership to be on one. That's ridiculous. Gun rights. Well, I'm a Second Amendment absolutist. I think that unless you are actively incarcerated, that's that. The only time I think you should not be allowed to have a weapon is if you are actively incarcerated. Because, duh. But that's it. When you've done your time, you get all of your rights back, just as the Founding Fathers intended. No questions asked, all of your rights. Man, people do dumb shit. I've been there. I've done that. The whole system, the entire system, and it's been this way for as long as I've been alive, is a trap. You must obey to participate. Yeah, like the Bible said. Yep, absolutely. That's why you don't. You don't participate. Which is what the Bible did tell us to do. The Constitution is already dead. Yeah, I could definitely see that argument. But it's not the official public stance. And until that point in time, we've got something that we can hold them to. Until that is officially done away with, which, by the way, they're getting both sides to demand. But until that goes away, that's the standard that we have to hold them to. Maybe it's time we start doing it. What are you going to do? Go to prison or die? Why is that a question? Go to prison or die? Sounds like that's an extreme. I'm not an extremist. No. The people on the left and the people on the right that are demanding the end of the Constitution, they're the fucking extremists, not I. God never told us to defend anything. That is certainly news to me. That's certainly news to me. Because the Bible I've read very much so tells me not to be a coward. Tells me to stand firm. That whole turn the cheek thing, that's a Christian ideology. Sorry. And just because it's an ideology does not make it accurate. There's a lot of damned ideologies out there. I will say it again, I am Hebrew for a reason. Much of that reason is to live set apart. Now, I can't take part and live set apart at the same time, because then I'm living a lie. I am going to set myself apart. I am going to live set apart. Period. So let's talk about the defeatism aspect and why it's a trap. This is a long video. I apologize. Defeatism says, because I won't act, no one else can. My mom was a defeatist. All the way. My mom was a defeatist. No chance. Don't try. You'll never do it. The only time somebody can truly say that they can't is because they've already said that they won't. It's not me. Defeatism isn't realism. It's actually pre-surrender. Again, you're on the receiving side of Sun Tzu logic. Don't allow yourself to be there. As far as, the other point about what can I do, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. There's definitely more on that. So let's talk about the God aspect, the Yah aspect. No. Yah doesn't worship governments. He doesn't enshrine tyrants. In fact, Scripture is all about resistance, civil disobedience, and moral courage. Not giving up and giving in. He doesn't, meaning Yah, need permission, structures to act through us, through people. In fact, I would ask people to revisit the scripture that talks about how he lives through us. And how Jesus, Yeshua, lives through us. Read that. Read it again. And if you have to, read it again until you get that. Lives through us. How many people are sitting there saying, I can't wait till the return of Jesus? Again, that's a Christian ideology, and one that I've set myself apart from. He lives through us. Go read it. The Constitution may not be from God or of God, but surrender isn't obedience either. It's just not. Faith isn't equal to passivity, not even a little bit. And it's certainly not equal to compliance with evil. So let's talk about what can you do, man? What can you do? You gonna die or go to prison? Well, that's always a certainty. I could die taking my trash out to the edge of the street to be picked up. The tree limb could fall and hit me. And yeah, I could most certainly go to prison over the freedom of speech that I've been expressing for over a decade here. You want to know my biggest fear of going to prison? Prison over freedom of speech? My biggest fear? The fear that saying a single word, a single syllable against Zionism will line you up against a wall in front of a firing squad. Man, people need to read the Bible. Not just talk about reading it or say they've read it. In some cases, think they've read it. I'm not saying that as an insult at all. I'm saying that as somebody who has sat down with God and only God and gone through the whole thing until I got it. I didn't do anything that any of you can't. First, work on that relationship with Yah. Open yourself up to listen to Him, not mankind, not your own head, Him. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's possible. And when you make that connection, read the Bible with Him. Ask Him questions. That's all I can tell people to do. If you want the truth, ask the truth. But don't ask it from man. But what can we do aside from prison or death? Well, I thought I've spent the last decade plus telling people that very thing right here on this very channel. I've been telling people the same thing, and my message has not much changed. For one, people are going to have to understand. They have a choice to make. Are you going to be a part of the beast system or not? This isn't a game. This isn't some fantasy. This is a decision, a question that's right now, right here before us. And you have to make the decision for yourself. I can't answer for you, and I damn sure ain't going to let you answer for me. What can you do? Number one, make the right fucking choice. That's the first thing you need to do. What's the next thing you need to do? Get your head out of the ass of all these federal politicians. Look local. Look inward. Find out what's going on where you live. These aren't things that I am just spewing out my mouth. These are things that I am actively doing. I've said it many times. Years ago, I started a local Facebook group. It's for our town. It's a community discussion group. We don't have a huge town. And we can cause monumental change in this town so easily because so few people get involved and so few people vote. Well, when you don't have a lot of people voting, it won't take a lot of people to upset that vote, now will it? So what can you do? Die? Go to prison? How about asymmetrical fucking warfare? That's what they're using on us. If you try to fight new ways with old technology, you're fucked. That is another message that I have been trying to tell you here at this channel for the last decade plus. The battle that lays before us is psychological, is technological, and it's spiritual. And you damn well better have what it takes on all aspects. If you don't, well, maybe it is easier to sign up. Maybe it is easier to give in. That's not the answer for all of us. Damn sure ain't the answer for me. Look, the most dangerous thing to power structures isn't rebellion. It's people who haven't given up. People who won't give up. People that don't know how to give up. I would be the latter. Freedom doesn't just disappear all at once. It doesn't. Take a look. They just nibble at it. When it really dies is when people think it's already gone. And I've even made comments to that. I have to own that. I've made many comments to that. It wasn't because it was true. It was trying to get it to motivate people. But it didn't. If you've already decided that you're powerless, you've done their work for them. I haven't. There's a whole lot of others that haven't either. But you probably don't know that, because they're not getting the media spotlight. They're not getting named by the politicians. They're not a part of the 30-second clips that you're watching. People have a lot of decisions to make, a lot of soul searching to do. I know where I am. I've been here for a while. This, what we are about to enter, is going to take a lot. And there's going to be a lot of steps. And it's going to be a lot of work. That's why it was important for people to start working at it a decade ago. I'm doing my best to be able to help, to be able to better communicate with all of you. And I'm gonna fail dramatically at times. But I will never try to steer you wrong. Not on faith, not on moral, not on anything. I don't look to gain from you. Not in any way. Hope you all have a good evening. I hope you make the right decisions. Shalom.